All right, sports fans, how's everybody out there doing? William Martin coming at you one more time here on YouTube with another edition of the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge Podcast. So please forgive me for not addressing this last week as I wanted to. Just been super busy, but nonetheless, I'm going to talk about it right now. And what that is that the folks in the camp of Seattle Mariners catcher Cal Raleigh are definitely not happy with last week's results in regards to the American League MVP balloting. It's for the third time in the last 4 years. New York Yankees outfielder Aaron Judge took home the award. So this past season, Raleigh led all of baseball in home runs with 60. And in the process, Raleigh became the first catcher in MLB history to hit 60 home runs in a season. Now, make no mistake about it. Raleigh's detractors are going to be quick to point out that he only hit 247 this season in comparison to the 331 of Judge, which was tops in Major League Baseball. Now, aside from the 331 batting average, Judge also hit 53 home runs and drove in 114 runs himself. Now, make no mistake about it. If Raleigh had been named as the MVP, he would have had the lowest batting average ever for a winner of the award. The lowest, you got to go all the way back to 1944. It was Marty Marion of the St. Louis Cardinals who hit 267. However, more recently, okay, when Shohei Ohtani, then of the Los Angeles Angels, was named as the AL MVP in 2021, he hit 257 with 46 home runs and 100 runs batted in. Now, clearly, what helped Ohtani is the fact that he also pitched in that year. He went 9-2 with a 3.18 ERA in 23 starts. And in the process, we saw Shohei beat out Vlad Guerrero Jr., who that year hit 311 with 48 home runs and 111 runs batted in. Now, clearly, Ohtani that year was rewarded for the fact that he pitches as well as hits. But getting back to this year, should more consideration have been given to Cal Raleigh due to the fact that he squats behind the plate for 9 innings each night? I think there was some consideration from an outsider's perspective. I really do think there was some legit consideration that came into that. But aside from the stats that I just gave, Aaron Judge, in 3 out of the last 4 years, all of his MVP years, okay, he also led the American League in walks. He had 124 walks this past season. Now, Judge did strike out 160 times compared to 188 for Cal Raleigh. I talked about the batting averages. Now, slugging wise, Cal Raleigh was at 589, while Judge led the league at 688. Judge's on base percentage was 457, while Raleigh's was 359. So you can look between the numbers. I'm not a big war guy, sabermetrics, things like that. I look at the stats. But nonetheless, stats aside, okay, the Seattle Mariners don't get as far as they got without Cal Raleigh. Okay, and not only what he did in the regular season, of course, he showed up and showed out and made some big plays and big hits for them during the postseason, albeit this is not a postseason award. Not to say that Aaron Judge didn't show up and show out for the New York Yankees, because I guarantee you, if Judge didn't have the season that he did, we're not talking about the Yankees being a playoff team. You look at the teams, though. The Yankees went 94 and 68. Of course, they tied for the top spot in the American League East, which, of course, that nod went to Toronto, who got the tiebreaker. Seattle went 90 and 72. So, still, we're talking about two of the better teams in the American League there. Some people are going to say, well, you know what? Aaron Judge hits in a bandbox. I mean, left field at Yankee Stadium, 318. Left field at T-Mobile Park in Seattle, 331. Left center at Yankee Stadium, 399. It's 378 at T-Mobile. So again, it kind of balances out. Center field at T-Mobile, 401 to 408 at Yankee Stadium. Right center in the Bronx, 385 to 381 at T-Mobile, and then right field is three at T-Mobile is 326 compared to 314 at Yankee Stadium. Now, at the same time, you could say, hey, you know what? The Mariners do have a retractable roof. Some of those games were played indoors, so it's like it all depends which avenue that you want to take to get to this. And for me, did the voters get it right? Honestly, I think they did. It's one of those where I still think you could have gone either way on this, but in my opinion, okay, and I'm not a voter or I don't have a say in these things. I do think that the batting average or the gap that there was in the batting average, I think that factored into things. If we're talking about this, let's just say Cal Raleigh still hits 247, but let's say Aaron Judge hits 285 as opposed to him hitting 331. I think it's a totally different conversation. I think the voters would have been more ready to lean towards a Cal Raleigh in this situation. Again, it was a very close vote. Okay, so it's not like Cal Raleigh did not get a lot of love and respect in this matter. It's just the fact that Aaron Judge got a little bit more. Some people might cite East Coast bias. I don't think so in this matter because it's one of those, yeah, the Mariners played a lot of West Coast games, this, that, and the third. But the bottom line is, hey, Cal Raleigh still went out there and produced. Aaron Judge still went out there and produced as well. So it's one of those, again, it all comes down to which avenue or which camp that you want to come from or come or go to in regards to this argument. But you know what? I think the ultimate winner in this, you know, if from Cal Raleigh's camp or the Seattle Mariners, because he had a phenomenal season, not easy to do from the catching standpoint. Okay, he was also a switch hitter, played in 159 games. All right, when it's all said and done, I want to say, well, how can Cal Raleigh come back and have a bigger and better season? Because it's very difficult to top 60. I truly do think so. But nonetheless, I think Cal Raleigh, if he can come back and have another big season, I think he's definitely going to be in that mix again. I thought where Judge wouldn't get the award from the standpoint that, you know what, he's been putting up these numbers for the last couple of years when he's healthy, basically every year. And, again, he hit 331 this year, which was a career high for him. Okay. But nonetheless, it's one of those, regardless of the sport, when a player gets to the point that he's so good, you kind of take it for granted and you say, well, you know what, this is what he's going to do each and every year. He can't win the award every single year. I thought that the voters were going to get to that point with Aaron Judge, but they didn't. Okay, which was a slight surprise to me on that matter. But nonetheless, I feel like they got it right. Still, you could have gone either way. You look at Aaron Judge. He's clearly putting together a Hall of Fame resume. You think about it, the only guys who have won multiple MVP awards who aren't in the Hall of Fame, you got Barry Bonds, of course. You've got Juan Gonzalez, and then you have Dale Murphy. Okay, but everybody else who's basically won multiple MVP awards, they're in Cooperstown, and I think Aaron Judge is definitely trending in that direction. He's going to be a guy. He's going to get to the 400 mark. More than likely, next season if he stays healthy. Home run wise, he's already at 368. The hits are coming. He's still, if you want to call it, he's still in the prime of his career. He's 33 years old, be 34 soon. But nonetheless, he's going to be, when it's all said and done, I think he'll be in Cooperstown. I think he's going to be remembered as one of the greatest Yankees ever, which is not easy to do because of the lineage and the historically great players that they've had play for that organization over the years. But nonetheless, I still think Judge is going to be in that category as far as great Yankees. But Cal Raleigh, you know what? his rise, I think this season was phenomenal, and I hope for his sake that he can keep it going. Maybe I'm not because again, 60 home runs is so difficult to do consistently. But if Raleigh could still put up another big season, and of course, for the Mariners' sake, if they can get over that hump and get to the World Series for the first time and win it, of course, for the first time, Cal Raleigh is going to be a folk hero in the Pacific Northwest. And of course, when you think about the Mariners organization, they've had some great hitters over the years. Okay. But nonetheless, this is what it's all about. Two great players. It is very close, in the balloting last week. It's one of those where, Mariners, Yankees only play each other twice a year, which is unfortunate. I've given you my thoughts on that. But nonetheless, you know what? I guarantee you those two series between the Yankees and Seattle next season are going to be must see TV. Once again, apologies for taking so long to get this out. I've been meaning to talk about this, been very busy over the last couple of days, but nonetheless, third MVP for Aaron Judge, and Cal Raleigh unfortunately had to finish a very close second. But folks, that is going to wrap it up. And as always, I want to take this time out to thank each and every one of you for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. And as always, if you like what you heard and saw on this podcast, you know what to do. Just hit that like button as well as subscribing to this channel. And like I always say, it is greatly appreciated. Also, if you are on the X, formerly known as Twitter, you can check me out anytime at 300 Pounds of Sports. And like I always say, if you give me that follow, I'll do the same in return. And that also goes for Instagram, where you can check me out at 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge. Also, if you're on Facebook, definitely check out the Sports Depot 365. And as far as I'm concerned, one of the better sports groups going on social media. But until next time, fine folks, my name is William Martin, and I am signing off. And I'm saying thanks once again for checking out the 300 Pounds of Sports Knowledge podcast here on YouTube. Be well, everybody.